This is about empowerment of women through fashion. How do you describe a sense of empowerment in your own life?
I think taking away the obstacle of how to dress is a huge part of empowerment. If you feel smart, you feel sexy, but then you go to get dressed and you just don't have, I say all the time that I don't have that chip where I know how to dress. I think some women have it and some don't, but that doesn't mean that I'm bad or wrong. It just means that I need some help with that. And so once I know that I don't even have to think about my clothes, I feel like there's nothing holding me back. There's nothing stopping me if I don't even have to think about. I know I just feel good, and that's taken care of. And that's what we want to hand people.
So you talked out there about feeling confident in yourself, and then when you go to put on your clothes or when you went shopping, you lost all your confidence because you didn't feel like your body fit or you fit, and that transferred to not only did your clothes not fit, but you weren't lovable, you didn't have any worth, and you were like a piece of.
A piece of, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean.
Is it really that? I mean,
it's an emotional thing. It's been a struggle for me my whole life, and especially just being in the entertainment industry, standing on a stage in front of people. I can't perform my best or be confident if I'm not sure, if I'm pulling at something, and I just didn't know how to dress. Sometimes I'm a size 6, sometimes I'm a size 12, and so going to put jeans on or things that I see girls in magazines or on TV wearing wasn't agreeing with my body type, and it wasn't, and I felt, you feel bad and wrong, and you're in a dressing room trying stuff on, and maybe there's a sales girl who's like looking at you, and then a lot of fittings I would have for jobs I got or TV shows or something, and the stylist is busy and they're just annoyed, and you feel like they hate you because you're not rail thin, and it creates so much anxiety, and sometimes I would just want to just like kind of throw in the towel and be like, I'm not going to go do stand-up tonight, or I'm not going to go on this job interview because I don't feel like I look good, and it's too stressful to try to piece together something to step out into the world in, which is where, for male comics, I just look at them and I'm like, you can roll out of bed and go on stage, and I have to So Lisa giving me these tools, telling me how I can dress easily and comfortably, and so I don't even have to think about what I'm wearing, because I don't think we all need to be fashionistas to feel confident and good and like you have a cool outfit.
So you said you didn't really have these tools to feel confident,
yeah.
even though you're doing extremely well, you're big professional success, until you met her.
Yeah.
And so you guys haven't known each other that long. So you just met for Trainwreck, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So like this feeling of confidence, of empowerment is recent?
Yeah, absolutely. I was dressing really, really poorly, and I don't even mean financially. I would just be super comfortable and wear something out that just kind of wanting to hide and go
masking.
unnoticed. Yeah, and that was me sending a message to myself, that your value lays other places, so you don't have to worry about that. And if people look at you and judge you for not dressing well, then that's on them. But it was just a defense mechanism, because I just didn't know how to put myself together. And also these fittings with other stylists for these shows or whatever, it would be, they would just put you in something and they wouldn't really care, and they'd be like, oh, okay, that's good enough, because they have other things to do. Or, did you gain weight? Or, just these things that are really decimating. And Lisa was the first one who was like, okay, I have your sizes, and the way things just come off the hanger doesn't usually look its best. Some tailoring, and I said this to the women in there, but this is not, you don't need to be rich to, I've never even had a relative to ask $100 from, and I just in the last couple of years started being able to afford a cool outfit. But Lisa shops for me at Forever 21 or H&M. It doesn't need to be expensive stuff to feel great.
Talk to me about the moment where you felt she understood who you were, what you had been going through, and it was different. Because that's what you're trying to convey with these workshops.
Sure.
You're trying to give the women that you were talking to there the same moment.
Yeah. Yeah. It was such a gift to be given, to learn how to dress, to feel good about myself. And that's the gift that we want to give everyone, everywhere. For me, it was the first fitting I had with Lisa. I was just surprised. And there are parts of yourself you don't know that you should be accentuating. I never had any real pride for any body part. And she's like, you can wear skirts that are this length. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, cool. I've never had confidence in my legs or my neck or, just something that you want to accentuate. Mm-hmm. And it was just, I was bracing myself to be, to feel bad. I was bracing myself to leave the fitting, as I've left every fitting, feeling bad about myself. And it was just the opposite. I was excited. I was excited about clothing. But the big moment, the big breakthrough moment was, I'm very close with my sister, and Lisa dressed her also. And so my sister and I, we both have always dressed badly. I mean, she loves her shirt that says Harry Otter. It's Harry Potter, but it's an otter. And she'll wear this into a meeting with the heads of HBO or Miramax. She doesn't care. And I so, and I have a version of that too. So Elisa had given me this gift of showing me how to dress and feel good. And she didn't have to do this, but she just did. She shopped for my sister also. And seeing my little sister wearing a little blazer and a shirt and looking just like a strong, beautiful woman, I realized that holding myself back was also holding her back. And so to see just the person I care the most about being given those tools was really moving for me. And I just wanted to give it to every woman.
Amy.
There's just no reason. That every woman shouldn't be feeling strong and beautiful and not being told that her body type is wrong and her face is bad. I want every woman to be able to look in the mirror and feel great.
Did you
I
know?
did not know that. That's lovely. Yeah.
But what you were also saying up there is, this is not about money. Because I think for so many people, fashion is out of their reach. They can't, quote, afford it.
Right.
They could never afford you, right? Or afford what they think will make them look good. So why is it important you to do this with Goodwill, to do it for women who can't afford?
I think because Goodwill is a place that's very generously donated all of these clothes. Goodwill has this incredible program where these women are going through counseling, and they themselves are ready to move out into the world with confidence, to get a great job and to succeed in life. And I think that I really wanted to make sure that feeling confident and feeling great in life wasn't just for any particular group based on if you could afford clothing that made you feel confident or not, but that it was for everyone. Because when you think about it, when you have on a great outfit and you kind of have a great day, you feel good about yourself that day, you create all these positive connections. And the connections could be work connections, it could be personal connections, and it enhances your life. And I just thought to myself, what could happen if the majority of all the people walked around in the world feeling pretty good about themselves and weren't afraid, to step out and get that great job and live that life that they want.
But how do you make these women feel like you get it? You get where they are in their life, that there's not that much that separates you from them. Is that important to you?
Definitely. I think if I'm looking at someone, you think, well, she probably lives in like a mansion and just has a closet full of amazing clothes and doesn't have to think about it. And I've worked since I'm 14 and have never known how to dress, and have had job interviews and auditions and had to go to work and get on stage, even to just do an open mic. And yeah, I've been going in to just try to wait tables somewhere and trying to come up with that outfit. And if you don't feel good in it, it's what you're thinking about. You just can't, and you're thinking, they're looking at me and they know that I'm not dressed well and this is not flattering to my body. And I just feel like all women have been there. It doesn't matter if you're a rich supermodel, honestly, or someone just trying to join the workforce.
I think it's I think it's universal. I think that we all, regardless of our size or our economic level, we all have moments of feeling insecure, and that's a common thread that we can connect to each other with. And I understand when someone doesn't feel good about what they're wearing, and they just start to slowly
shrink.
turn inside. And then suddenly you see someone who feels great about what they're wearing, and it's like, standing up tall and smiling, and that feeling is regardless of where you come from and what you can afford. And
You said something in an interview that I read where you said that you didn't take the Daily Show because you like to be scared. You want to do things that scare you. Does this scare you, actually, coming here to talk to these women about your own misgivings about fashion? Does talking about body type, talking about feeling vulnerable, is this scary and hence good?
It's not scary. It's really exciting, and I think we're both really well suited for it. I'm not someone who pretends to be any cooler than they are, and so I know our intentions are just to make these women feel comfortable in their clothing so that they can just go out into the world and kick ass. That won't be something that's holding them back. And I know that's my intention, and I know we have the tools to help them do that. And so no, I'm not scared. I couldn't wait to get in that room.
Why?
Because it's my favorite thing to do. I do stand up. I'm doing these, right now I'm on this tour. It's 20,000 seat theaters, and it's half men, half women, and I'm so happy to be doing it, and I'm so happy they're both there, and I love making everyone laugh. But I'm speaking to the women. I want the women to leave there feeling a little more empowered, and I know how much this empowered me, and so I know that this is a gift that we'll be able to give them, and it's just totally exciting.
Do you think it's like, do you perform differently because of this experience, because of this connection, because of what you learned, because the gift of Lisa to your sister, the whole thing? Do you stand up differently?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Just, it really, if you just think about it, you're like, it's an outfit, who cares? But I'm telling you, it was such a defense mechanism for me. And it just, if you have a job interview, you have a meeting, if you're not dressed well and you just know that, and by not dressed well, I just mean for your body type or just right for yourself, it creates this sort of shield for me where I would be talking to executives or pitching a TV show or even just meeting friends for drinks or meeting new people, and it made me defensive, and I just wanted to kind of take myself out of the equation as a woman. Just don't even look at me. I'm not even trying. I'm not, because I don't care, and that was my defense mechanism. And I didn't realize that I was in pain about it, and that I could just feel great and put my absolute best foot forward and perform better. And that's what it did for me. I feel more open as a person, and I feel just stronger, and I'm just able to perform better in all areas.
So what do you think when you hear that?
Well, it thrills me to know that I've helped someone feel more confident in their life. I can't think of anything better, truthfully. And, honestly, I've gone through my own struggles with my body image because I was already a stylist and a costume designer for 10 plus years, and I developed a thyroid issue, and suddenly 50 pounds I was heavier than I had been before, and I had to find a new way to dress myself and feel comfortable in my own skin and step out and be great at the job that I had always loved. Because, I go to work and people expect me to be well dressed. I'm a stylist, and I had to navigate that and find, I know what made me feel good 50 pounds less, but what makes me feel good now? And how am I going to feel confident and continue this message of that confidence is more attractive than any item of clothing or any, outfit? How can I do that if I don't feel it?
One of the women in there asked about how do you dress without being too overtly sexual? And you said that you think that's actually a pretty common feeling, emotion that women have that you meet, whether you're meeting them here at Goodwill or whether you're meeting Amy Schumer. So did you want this woman right here who wasn't leading, who was talking a lot about sex, but not leading, feeling like, oh, I'm sexual? Was that a thing, like you were saying, she made you conscious of, like, I have good legs? I was watching Trainwreck, I was like, she has good legs.
She has good legs. She does have good legs.
That's Elisa Discovery.
I think I want everyone to feel comfortable with saying, I feel sexy. And as a result of that, understanding why. And that is something to be proud of. And it's something that's about how we feel deeply in our core and not a short skirt. A short skirt is something that's an affectation of being sexy. Feeling sexy is a state of being. And finding clothing that makes that statement true is really wonderful to watch, because I watch Amy, put on clothes and say, yeah, I feel great. And I know that she's like saying great because she feels sexy, beautiful, confident, strong, and able to go and do whatever it is that she is going to do that day, whether it's a meeting or stand up or just taking a walk on the street.
Walk on the street. And also, Lisa really just exposed me to the crazy concept of what if you were just comfortable in the skin you're in? What if you're not, this is a temporary vessel that's in, and I'm good. But when I lose that there was always this, okay, I'm not worth looking at now, but I'm striving. And so what about, no, the skin that I'm in right now, I'm going to embrace and love it. And I think, of course, you have to be healthy and take care of yourself. I love working out and everything like that, but it's not this, I can't stand, because, you look at a picture of yourself a year ago, you're like, I was so hot then. Why didn't I appreciate it? Now I'm a monster. It's like, I think we all have that so I'm like, let me appreciate this moment right now, how I feel and where I am, and that's why in my monologue on Saturday Night Live, I talked about the Kardashians, and I said, and I really like that family, and I think that those girls are inspiring, and they make me laugh. I like them, but the idea of not always pushing so hard and having it be about how you look and wanting to alter something to try to become this perfect woman or thing, and because they're so, heavily in the media, they're for a lot of women, that's their role model. And so it's really exciting for me to be in a position to say, what about loving yourself how you are? And that doesn't mean
enhanced.
Right, not enhanced. What about just saying, this is how I look, and I'm beautiful and I feel strong. And on the internet, people will write about me, they'll be like, She is the most disgusting creature I've ever seen. And then other people will say she's super hot, and they're both right. You're not going to be what everybody loves, but you have to love yourself. And just making the decision to do that is something you can actually do. And I think this is a good way to encourage women to do that.
Are you saying, though, that because you come across in your work as so confident,
Yeah.
right? Whether you're like talking about gun control, you're talking about sex,
Yeah.
you're talking about men and women, there's nothing that seems to be off the table.
Yeah.
And yet you're saying that before you met her, that was an act, or
No.
that was like...
It wasn't I felt awful about myself all
Right.
the time I was walking around. I still felt sexy and strong, and like my opinion really mattered. And if I was doing a special on television or something, I would have some help figuring out what to wear. But I would get dressed and I really wouldn't like what I saw, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Didn't know how to make the outside mirror the inside.
Yeah.
The way you were feeling was not being portrayed to the world
Totally.
in that same way.
And with Lisa's help, it was like, here, look, this is still you. You're comfortable. You're not wearing a corset and Spanx, except once in a while. and it's
Right.
I felt more like myself. And yeah, I wasn't walking around with horrible self-esteem or anything like that, but I just those painful moments of trying to get dressed or try to buy something, and I just didn't have the tools to know how to do that.
So you're talking to a lot of women here, and you're talking about empowerment, and you're talking about it through fashion. But really, empowerment's got to be in here, right? You got to
Yeah.
have the confidence. So both of you come across up there like confident women. What would you say are the 2 or 3 most important things you want these women to know about self-confidence, about thinking your opinion matters, thinking that you deserve to have one in the first place?
I really want them to know, first of all, you're not alone, and even someone who is successful and beautiful and like a model, they have the same moments that these women have, and that anxiety. So they're not alone. These are struggles everyone goes through. You're not bad or wrong. Your body type isn't wrong. You just haven't been given these tools.
But what tool do you want them to take away from here? That they can have your confidence, that they can learn how to dress, I get that.
Right.
But you want also to, quote, empower them.
Yeah.
I think
Where do you get that? Where do you get that from?
Well, the tips and the tools that Lisa's stylists are helping with, and understanding what items they can buy at like a Strawberry or a thrift store.
I think it's all about shape. That's really the truth, is that once you find the shapes that you can recognize that make you feel good, you can take those shapes and repeat them daily. So, for instance, if you know a narrow pant feels good on you and a pencil skirt feels good on you, you pair that with a top that also feels good. Like for me, I like a knee-length skirt. I like a top that's fitted but not tight. I started to realize that made me feel that getting dressed was effortless when I put on those shapes. And then those shapes turn into the silhouette that becomes your daily uniform. And if we can help women recognize the shapes that make them feel good, that those shapes will be the go-to every day. And there starts to be a lot less affectation of how fashion and how do I do it and what's the thought. They know what to look for. They look for their shape and their daily uniform.
So it's your hope that once they get the shape, once they feel good through the fashion, they will in turn carry themselves differently, like you learned from her.
Absolutely.
That it changed your insides.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just giving them the simple information in a way that isn't overwhelming, that they can take home and then tell their friends about, and hopefully their friends will tell their friends, and not even have to worry about their clothing and have that part be done, because that really does wind up being such a stressful.
It's very stressful. And I think also, when I'm doing films, I might dress a character a specific way to feel awkward, to feel vulnerable. And then I might dress someone to feel strong and confident. And you really can see it in the body language. And when you try things on, if you can ask yourself this question, you know, do I feel confident? Do I feel strong? And the answer to that is yes. Those are the kinds of things you want to learn to repeat, and regardless what's in fashion, those are the shapes that work for you. That's what makes you feel good. And then people are suddenly like, you look great. And then maybe second or third thing they mention to you is, oh, and I love your outfit. I love your outfit should never be the first thing that someone says, I don't think, when they see you. You know, just that you look great.
Finally, you have this big HBO special. What are you hoping? You've had such a gangbuster year. First time on Saturday Night Live, successful film, speaking out on issues that matter to you, that matter in the country, on gun control. What are you hoping that this HBO special does?
Well, I think these Style Fund and the special actually go hand in hand, because the special's me saying, okay, I just got kind of thrust into Hollywood, and this was my experience of it, and a lot of it is about self-esteem and everything we're seeing in magazines and all the images we see on television, and these people that were just this imagery, it just really gets in your head, and how it makes you feel about yourself. I feel like I kind of went underground, like I was doing a story on Hollywood, and like I'm coming out like, okay, here's what's going on. No one's just naturally thin, everyone's starving. And this, telling all the things I found out in a way that hopefully will make everybody laugh and feel better, which is my goal across the board with everything.
So you're like pulling the curtain back on Hollywood and saying, it's not what you think.
You guys, I've been to Hollywood. It's nuts. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.